Hi, welcome to Understanding W&M Finances. My name is Melissa Franks. I'm one of the Assistant Directors of Financial Aid here at W&M, and I'm going to go through my presentation with you. It's going to take about 15 minutes or less, and hopefully it's helpful. So let me just share the presentation with you all. All right. This is the exact presentation that I would be giving in the William and Mary Parent Orientation on Saturday. So as I said, my name is Melissa Franks. I'm with the Office of Financial Aid, but we're going to be talking about a brief overview of all things financial here at William and Mary. The first thing you need to know is you need a passphrase. The passphrase is a verification system designed by the Dean of Students Office that will help us verify the identity of individuals that are calling in or emailing that are requesting information about the student. The student can give information access rights to parents, guardians, friends, anybody they want, but they do have to set that up. And we will ask for a student passphrase when the student calls in. So keep in mind, everybody has a different passphrase. If your student tells you that the passphrase is ball, they're probably telling you their passphrase because they won't know yours. So how do you get a passphrase? Students have to provide a parent with parent contact information, indicate release information, and they do this inside something called the personal information questionnaire that they're required to do, I want to say at least annually. The system will then generate an email to the parent with a unique code word or passphrase. Now, some of you guys may remember our friend here. You got to have a passphrase. So the passphrase, you'll need the passphrase along with the student ID number, the William and Mary number. It starts with 93. Typically for new students, it will be starting with 931. You'll need your parent information. So you'll need your name. So if your name is Catherine, but you go by Katie, if your student put you down as Catherine, make sure that you're giving whatever name your student would have put in. So keep that in mind. The system's not as smart as we'd like it to be, so it doesn't understand name derivatives. So you'll be needing to give that information to anybody when you're calling in to talk about a student record, be that financial aid, academic, judicial, the bill even. So passphrase, it's important. So the first thing we do in our office and at any financial aid office is we establish a cost of attendance. It's how we determine financial need and financial eligibility. So basically we use the cost of attendance minus the expected family contribution to give us a total financial need. The cost of attendance is made up of directly billed cost and indirect cost. If you all got a financial aid award letter mailed to the house, you may be familiar with some of these terms. Direct costs are things billed to the student account, like tuition and fees, room and board if they signed up for it. Indirect cost, books and supplies, personal miscellaneous expenses related to education, and their transportation. So as you're all aware, out-of-state students, much larger cost of attendance than in-state students, and that's all related to those tuition and fees. We offer the federal student loan program, but there are other types of loans out there to help fund your academic experience or your student's academic experience. You have your federal direct subsidized student loans, unsubsidized student loans, and the federal Parent Plus loan. All of these federal loans, it does require that the student file the FAFSA to be eligible, even if you're just seeking a Parent Plus loan. The FAFSA is filed annually. And you'll do that. It opens up in October. I usually tell my families to think about filing the FAFSA over Thanksgiving break. You know, it's usually less chaotic than a Christmas break or a winter break, and you've got time to sit down. You don't necessarily need to file it on October 1st, but you do want to make sure you remember to file it every year. Believe it or not, despite consistent reminders from our office and reminders sent from the federal government, we still have students calling up as of this week who can't figure out why they don't have financial aid. It's because they never filed a FAFSA. The other types of loans out there are private student loans and private parent loans. So you'll find a lender of your choice or your student's choice that offer these products, and you'll work with them to create the loan that you want to borrow for this school year. Now, some lenders will allow you to have like excuse me, a line of credit where you draw down annually. Some you have to apply every year. It just depends on your lender. Student employment is another option that we add in our aid package. It is need-based, work study is, but not all students can work on campus, whether they were awarded federal work study or not. Things to realize: students are not placed into positions, and you know, given this, you know, we're still in this kind of weird COVID haze, so we may have options for students to do work remotely rather than coming into an office. Students can be paid no less than federal minimum wage. Based on position, it may be more. Based on student experience, it may be more. If your student has CPR certification and lifeguard training, they may be making more at the rec center than a student who may be shelving books in the library. Job listings are hosted by the Cohen Career Center. Here's the Tribe Careers link. The departments will also sometimes post on their websites or put flyers around campus. There is going to be an on-campus student employment fair September 2nd, hosted by the Cohen Career Center. Now, outside scholarships, we get a lot of questions about this time of year. We are, as a financial aid office, required to include outside scholarships as a resource in the aid package. Now, you may be getting some kind of tuition assistance that you don't think of as a scholarship, but it's still an outside resource. So we do have to count that. How do we treat these though? And everybody's concerned about that. It's important to realize that we do everything we can to protect the student's grant. So, because it's our favorite money to give and it's your favorite money to get, right? That money that doesn't have to be paid back. So the first thing we do is we fill in the gap if there's any unmet need. And then if we need to replace to make more room for this outside resource, we will cancel the federal work study. Then we'll reduce the need-based loan, which is the subsidized loan. After those three self-help, you know, the unmet need, the work study, and the loan have been reduced, we would then look at reducing grant. This may result, depending on, by the way, your scholarship award. If your student gets a lot of fall money and not a lot of spring money, it could result in an uneven disbursement of aid. So if we don't know, say that your student's getting $5,000 in grant in the fall and nothing in the spring, we just account for it being $5,000 for the whole year. You know, you guys may get a larger refund in the fall and then have less financial aid for the spring. So that's just something to be aware of. I know the Bursar tries to look into that and talk to students about splitting the funds fall and spring if possible. But sometimes the scholarship agencies are set at the award where they won't allow that. So just keep that in mind. It's just a piece of knowledge to have. Applying for future financial aid, like I discussed, students are required to reapply for aid every year. FAFSA.gov is still an active site, but they are transitioning to studentaid.gov, and you can go there or to FAFSA.gov and you'll file the FAFSA. Keep in mind, FAFSA is using prior year information. So this coming 2022-2023 FAFSA that's going to be available October 1st, you're going to be using 2020 tax information. We don't have a priority filing date. It is usually sometime in the mid-spring semester. We update our website and send reminders to students. We currently are operating on a priority filing date system. We don't have a cutoff date where a student may not be eligible for aid. I mean, of course, if a student doesn't apply for aid until October of the school year that they need financial aid for, it's very possible we may be out of money. But like I said, if you put a little mental reminder to file that FAFSA over the Thanksgiving break, the winter break with your student, you'll be okay. Students may be chosen for verification. It could be federal verification. It could be William and Mary verification. But when we ask for verification documents we usually send out email reminders. it's important to return those as soon as possible. Usually we don't start reviewing returning students for aid until after May 1. But if I have a student's records here in February and I have downtime while I'm reviewing new students, I will review returning students. So the earlier the better. It never hurts to be timely. Aid award and notifications are emailed to students after spring grades are posted. So we don't package returning students until after spring grades are posted. We will email the student and likely still be mailing paper award letters to the address we have on file. Student accounts in the eBill. Student accounts are the bursar's office. They send out email notifications of the bill. They send it to the William and Mary email accounts. It's very important that your student is actually using their William and Mary email account. They do not mail out paper bills. Students, as you probably are all aware, students can set up parents as a third party to receive billing notifications. They'll do that in the e-services, and third parties can see the balance due, but not specific charges or credits. The fall e-bill is sent in July and is due in August. The spring e-bill will be sent in December and is due in January. Monthly e-bill is sent to the student for accounting any outstanding charges, any updates, any changes, printing charges, lab fees that they may have added on, graduation fees that they may have signed up for. So anything can happen. You may think the bill is satisfied in, September, but maybe your student gets some printing charges or other things that they may have signed up for that are assigned to their billing statement. So just to make sure students are always aware, monthly e-bills do go out. They do offer a tuition payment plan out of the bursar's office. There's a $50 enrollment fee. They do 4 installment payments per semester. So if you signed up for the payment plan in July, you'll make a July, August, September, October payment so that the bill is satisfied in time for the student to register for classes in November. You can combine the payment plan with financial aid. You can mix and match with parent loans or private loans so that the payment plan and the loans, everything can work out best for you. It's really just how you want to complete the puzzle. You can be able to pay out of pocket and willing to pay out of pocket, or you might want to take a small loan so you're mitigating some of that out of pocket expense, or you may want to pay more out of pocket so you're mitigating your long-term loan debt. It's definitely whatever works for you guys. This is the payment plan website. It's pretty comprehensive, and the billing office will be able to help out if you have questions. Their contact information will be at the end of this presentation. Refunds are generated when financial aid and other payments exceed direct bill charges. So if you have looked at your bill, you may see, or your student's bill with them, you may see a negative balance, and that's a credit balance. It means after September 1st, after classes are done being dropped and added and lab fees are put on or taken off, this is your potential refund as of today. They do automatically issue the refunds to the student or parent. The parent would be issued a refund only if the refund was created by the Parent Plus loan. They do still mail paper checks, but they really prefer if your student signs up for direct deposit, and they do that in e-services. Direct deposit's a little faster on that refund, so I definitely encourage it. I know they encourage it, and they usually process refunds within 14 days of the first day of classes. First day of classes is the first day we disperse funds to the student's account. As of right now, they're currently authorized, but they won't disperse. So in case of loans, none of the loans will be accruing interest until after the aid disperses physically on the first day of class. Things to think about as we wrap up. I encourage you to ask questions. If you're like me and things occur to you in the middle of the night when none of these offices are open, you can always send an email, or you can even check our websites. We work pretty hard to keep those thorough and comprehensive. So definitely don't spend 12 hours panicking when you can perhaps find that answer online. I will also encourage you, as wonderful and fantastic as the parent Facebook groups are. It's a great way to connect with your fellow parents. You know, y'all are all going through the same thing at the same time, but do keep anything you read on there a grain of salt. It's not always accurate. You got to realize that everybody has their own experiences, hear their own things, and interpret their situation very differently. If you have questions, let us know. Call us up with the passphrase. We're happy to talk about what we can, what we know about. If it's questions that we don't have an answer to because it's not in our purview, we'll try to get you to the right office or the right person to assist you. There are really amazing study abroad opportunities. We are, at least pre-pandemic, we were one of the top schools for sending students abroad to study. So a lot of your students are probably thinking about that, and they're going to see a lot about opportunities to do that. Definitely check in with the Reeves Center for Global Education, and check in with our offices. We're happy to talk about those options. We even have a study abroad. It's not really study abroad because it's a William and Mary campus, but we have a campus in DC. It's really amazing. They offer really amazing opportunities that change every year. So it's not just all political science. So definitely make sure your student explores all the avenues to them while they're here. 4 years is a long time, but it's also really short. So we encourage, like I said, I encourage questions. I encourage you to reach out. We, as our offices, all try to help where we can to make your experiences and the students' experiences as best as possible, as good as possible. So welcome to William and Mary. We're glad you're here. And if you need anything, let us know. Thanks so much.